We recently talked about the FBI shootout at a Detroit mosque where a radical homegrown terrorist got killed, and it wasn't in the newspapers. Can you believe this? Joining us now is Brigitte Gabriel, author of They Must Be Stopped, who again says prisons are being used to convert people to radical Islam.
Thank you, Michael. The arrests and killing of the Imam in Detroit this week is the latest alarming example of homegrown terrorism, and it's spread across America, especially in the prison system where many of these people have been converted. All of the followers of Imam Abdullah were African American felons converted in the prison system, including him. Terrorist organizations working with Wahhabi imams in America are actively and rapidly recruiting out of our prison system from the African American community. When these felons leave prison, they are becoming recruiters themselves within the inner cities, radicalizing their fellow gang members and families. Of the 50 homegrown Islamic terrorists who have been arrested in the last 7 months, most are either born into the Islamic faith or have converted to Islam in the prison system. The majority of the converts are African Americans. Imam Abdullah used his mosque as a weapons training and shooting range to commit terror acts against America and work with like-minded Islamic organizations to establish an Islamic government in the United States. And once again, CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, has stepped in to raise questions about law enforcement action taken against radical Islamists. For instance, the executive director of CARE's Michigan chapter, Dawood Walid, said about Imam Abdullah, quote, "I knew nothing of him that was related to any nefarious or criminal behavior," end quote. Yet the militancy and violence that has come to light with the investigation of Abdullah's mosque is in perfect harmony with proclamations that have been made by Siraj Wahhaj, a longtime member of CARE's board of advisors. According to documented revelations in the new book Muslim Mafia, Wahhaj has conducted, quote, jihad camps for gang members and has advocated Uzi jihads against America. Wahhaj has exhorted his flock in New York as follows, quote, "If we go to war, brothers and sisters, and one day we will, believe me, that's why you're commanded to fight in jihad. When Allah demands us to fight, we're not stopping and nobody's stopping us," end quote. Just this past Friday, Act for America, the national grassroots organization I founded in 2007, launched a nationwide petition drive calling for a federal investigation of CARE. To read the petition and sign it, please log on to actforamerica.org. Why are we calling for a federal investigation of CARE? Several reasons. Anyone who has followed CARE's checkered history knows that CARE was listed as an unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation terrorist financing trial last year. They also know that the FBI severed official ties with CARE due to connections CARE has to the terrorist organization Hamas. And they know that numerous CARE officials have been either investigated, arrested, or convicted for terrorism-related charges. But with the release last week of Muslim Mafia, there can be no longer any question about CARE's real agenda and real reason for its existence. Here are just a few of the stunning allegations in the book. CARE has previously unreported ties to Al-Qaeda and has worked closely with Al-Qaeda operatives in the United States.
You said they have spies in law enforcement?
CARE has planted spies inside law enforcement agencies. In one instance, a county police officer working closely with CARE scoured classified federal police databases to learn whether or not an acquaintance was under surveillance. He then tipped off the suspect. The ultimate irony in that situation was that the county police officer, with CARE support, helped scuttle a counterterrorism training program that was being used by the county police force. An imam whom CARE regularly books to speak at its events has called on Muslims to hijack U.S. military aircraft. CARE officials have coached numerous terrorism suspects and witnesses to withhold information from FBI investigators and successfully obstructed a terrorism investigation in Maryland. CARE has lobbied the Justice Department and local law enforcement to look at the other way in cases of Muslim wife beating, arguing that these should be settled by Muslim clerics. Yet, in spite of the growing evidence against CARE, there are many in our government, media, and academia who persist in defending this organization. Many of these leaders in government are the same people who appear determined to spend our country into bankruptcy. This is why Act for America has, as a first step in demanding government accountability of CARE, launched a national petition calling for a federal investigation. We believe, at the very least, that CARE has violated its nonprofit status, that CARE is operating as an agent for foreign entities without properly registering and reporting its activities, and that the actions of many people associated with CARE have compromised national security and our counterterrorism operations. This is why I am appealing to you, listening to tonight's program, to log on to actforamerica.org and sign our petition. We need to carry a strong, collective voice to Washington that says accommodating CARE will no longer be tolerated.
How have they responded?
In recent days, CARE has taken to responding to any and every allegation and piece of evidence lodged against it with a vicious name-calling attack that makes what they have done in the past appear tame by comparison. I believe this is a sure sign that CARE is desperate to silence the truth. The best response to such a propaganda smear campaign is strength in numbers. Michael certainly understands how CARE operates, and so do you, his faithful listeners. If CARE is allowed to evade even the most basic government scrutiny of its many questionable actions and associations, CARE will have won a big victory for the advance of radical Islam. For months now, we have witnessed the grassroots voice of America rise to a roar through the vehicle of the Tea Party movement. Now is the time for that voice to roar against the threat of radical Islam. News of foiled Islamist terrorist plots have become an almost weekly occurrence over the past 3 months. There is no longer any question that CARE is tied to terrorist organizations and has worked to undermine law enforcement actions against suspected terrorists. It's not enough for you to listen to radio. That's just entertainment. I'm urging you to take action today. All you have to do is log on to actforamerica.org, click on the link to the petition, read it, and add your name. When the petition drive is complete, we will have our full-time Act for America lobbyist deliver the petition to the appropriate leadership in Washington. This is your chance to become a voice affecting your community and our nation. Make your voice heard.
Well, thanks for the report, Brigitte. I understand the problem's not going away.
Savage.